Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Laura Sharbash. I'm the membership chair for the New Jersey Academy of General Dentistry. I'm also a delegate for the 2020 virtual House of Delegates. In keeping with that, we are conducting a virtual interview and we're here with Dr. Elizabeth Clemente, the AGD treasurer, who's seeking her second term. How are you, Beth?
Fine, Laura, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Of course.
Thank you.
So our members have submitted some questions. Shall we get started?
Sure.
Okay. So in addition to the AGD, you have experience running a hospital-based program and overseeing and navigating budgets in the millions of dollars. Explain why this makes you uniquely qualified to remain as our treasurer and what challenges this could bring our organization if we were to make a change at this critical time.
We need to be able to balance both of those to be able to continue forward as an organization. And doing that on a regular basis is what I've been doing for the last 15 years in the hospital. However, I really was a private practitioner for much longer than that. In that regards, I have experience doing it. However, if you're going to change, it takes anybody time to learn a budget. It takes time to learn a new job. It takes time to know where your revenue streams are and what your expenses are. So we're having a lot of changes at the AGD. We're going to lose our executive director at the end of the year. We've had a lot of new staff come in. We've had departments completely turnover in the last 12 months. So you're losing your historic perspective on what they're doing, where they're spending money, how things are done. And it's very important that that people remain in their positions who know what's going on and who understand the process completely. Anyone becoming a treasurer at this point in time in any business is going to have a hard time getting up to speed in light of the trends are not the same. Things are totally different now. So not having lived through it makes it difficult for somebody to really move forward with it.
All right, so given the impact COVID-19 has had on our organization and the financial challenges it has brought about, explain why it's so important that someone with intimate knowledge of our financial situation remain at the helm.
Between 18 and 19, we lost about $115,000 of non-dues revenue. And that translates into a loss of benefits to our membership, which is problematic. The new membership tier may, in fact, help us solve some of those problems and give more money back to our members. Where we need to be going is looking at non-dues revenue. And wherever we can find non-dues revenue, and we may have some starts and stops that don't really work as well as we had hoped, we need to do everything possible to improve that.
So tell me, Beth, what have you accomplished as treasurer that will benefit the grassroots AGD member?
Well, Laura, we're trying to push forward a new change in membership that will allow people the opportunity to upgrade their membership and actually get about $150 more in benefits than they'll be paying for, while at the same time keeping the base rate similar so that people who are having difficulties with COVID in the economy today will not be squeezed into a higher dues structure. That being said, we've also tried a new program that's going to allow members to travel to be reimbursed much more rapidly. And the reason this is a good thing is not just to get them their money back, but we use less staff time, which ultimately results in a savings for us on the expense side. Those are two significant things that we've done this year.
Oh, that's excellent. I've also heard about we're restructuring membership. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
The membership committee has come up with a plan to have a basic membership, which will be the same as it's always been, and an enhanced membership, which again will give people, will cost more, but will actually give them the differential in cost is actually they will get $150 beyond that differential in benefits. So it's aimed at giving more benefits and basically paying up front for some of them.
So Beth, can you please enumerate your accomplishments in the last 2 years as treasurer?
Certainly. Let's start with the creation of an electronic platform to expedite reimbursement to members for their expenses. I continue to make difficult decisions, including increasing oversight of the financial department. I have been able to conserve the budget line for constituents and members. We've also been able to institute an electronic platform where members can be reimbursed expeditiously for their expenses. I have clearly explained the difference between categories of membership, and full dues equivalent. I've been a clear and consistent voice on the Board of Trustees for fiscal responsibility, including an appreciation for membership dues. I routinely communicate with chairs to make sure that the will of their council is in line with budgetary goals, and I offer financial options as needed.
So, Beth, tell me, what do you hope to accomplish for your second term should you be elected?
My focus would be at this point in time on non-dues revenue. We cannot continue to ask our membership to cover the entire cost of operations. So it is important for us to develop some non-dues revenue streams and sponsorships and those sorts of things that from vendors, anything that can actually add money and value to both them and us. And those would be that's where our focus should be for next year.
So it sounds like it's important to have a treasurer who has experience creating revenue streams. Explain your past history of creating revenue streams.
Well, as most dentists, revenue streams comes from treating patients. So I still have always done that. But on the other side, we have to look at grant dollars perhaps, or again, funding from some sort of corporate entity, and even personal donations if need be. I have done a number of things to boost my revenue stream.
Very nice, very good. So before I get to this next question, could you please list the councils and committees that the treasurer serves?
The treasurer sits in an advisory capacity on audit, investment, and budget and finance. I am the associate chair. But I also do sit on the executive committee and the board of trustees as a voting member. Okay. And investments I sit on also.
Thank you for that. Can you explain the interactions of the treasurer with these various committees that you just listed?
Laura, as you know, I sit on the Board of Trustees and the Executive Committee as a voting member. I also advise the Audit Committee because they are in fact auditing our budget. I advise and sit on the Investment Committee for just to understand where our money is going, how it's invested, how much we have, to understand the processes and where it moves from place to place once we have cash to put in. And the last one is budget and finance, where I sit as the associate chair.
So what about the AGD or being a treasurer are you most passionate about?
I'd like to be able to provide the most member benefits for the dentists who are members of the AGD. I want to make sure they get the most bang for their buck. And in order to do that, we need to be efficient and streamlined so that money is not spent or wasted on the process, but actually gets to the member.
Oh, that's great. I love to hear that. The members would really appreciate that. So what is the most challenging part of budgeting for you?
It's very challenging in a budget of this magnitude to understand where your dollars are being spent and where they are coming from. In other words, what the benefit of spending money on a program is in the return that we get financially. And that becomes very convoluted because someone may be being paid X amount of dollars to do something and then bring in X amount of dollars, but at the same time on the same budget line item, another department may be doing something similar that is also impacting that number. So you have multiple people working independently, but at the same time when it comes to the budget, we have to draw that all together in one place, and you have to spend the time to do the deep dive or you don't get the big picture.
Thank you for your time. That was very informative. Good luck with your campaign for your second term as AGD treasurer.
Thank you, Laura. It was my pleasure. For those of you listening, I would be honored to serve a second term as treasurer of the AGD. I humbly ask for your vote on Saturday at the virtual House of Delegates.